of introducing something that doesn't work. So please think about the advantages to the community and the advantages to you as individual institutions to sign up to volunteer for a beta test program. Typically, well, maybe I should ask Julia or colleagues to say something, or at least to correct me if I'm wrong. The way we normally manage it is that we'll post a beta version of the software, typically on a Friday afternoon, and then give your DBA the Monday or the Tuesday to download it and install it, and then I'd come along on the Wednesday or the Thursday and work closely with you to make sure everything's gone in and the objects that we've added or changed are actually visible. And we can also use those sort of 2 days early in the week if the installs failed for some reason. We've still got a chance then to correct any defects in the install processing in time for that. So I don't think it's a huge amount of work for clients. It is a day, day and a half.
It works both ways. It's useful for us. What is coming up?
Yeah.
And obviously helping to influence current changes.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't pay you to say that. So and really, it's so useful. So think about whether it's something you can do a couple of times a year or once a year, particularly if there's one of these releases up here which you're concerned about, or you're particularly interested in, or whatever. Then I'm willing to go almost anywhere. Even Paisley, yeah, even Paisley. Okay. So back to the meetings. So. You could bring some influence to bear on them.
Well, like if you're the only one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what we need is something, a page on the Commons that you can all that yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me set that up, and I'll publish it, and then I'll attempt to fill it in, but then you can correct what I've said about your own. Absolutely, yeah. So we should just be able to add it to that. Yeah. Good suggestion. Okay. So the Wednesday meetings, are they useful, helpful? Are they the right length? Do I talk too much? Should I shut up and let you all contribute? What do you think? Who's been attending them regularly, or do you all listen to the recordings? Yeah. 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 Okay. I mean, my opinion is that I can't and I don't want to say these are the things we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it, and then push it out to you. I think it only works if you give me feedback. If you tell me what's important, what are the priorities, and this is really a part of this meeting. And I recognise. Oh no, still got a few minutes left. That I may be in danger of going over time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly, I've been involved in
Yeah.
but it doesn't sound like there's that much.
Yeah.
And then in a fortnight people might be over.
Yeah. Is it better to have the meetings every fortnight, and then if there's nothing to say, you don't do anything, so that you've got at least a date in your diary, you know that potentially there's something coming up?
I think potentially got it booked as a recurring thing once a
Yeah.
fortnight. But if, say at the end of the first meeting, we decide there's not going to be enough
Yeah.
to meet in a fortnight's time, we can arrange, or you can
Yeah.
send a message to say that we're not
Yeah.
meeting in a fortnight, we'll do
Yeah.
it in a month's time.
Yeah. It's
Add something to that, please, or you would be initiating from. For me, I think for somebody joining it, once a month is a commitment. It's a lot easier to give with someone who
Yeah.
knows what's going to be on it or not. But that's just one thing.
mhm.
But it's not always uniform, is it? It's like any development.
Yeah.
Often you need a fair bit of input up front.
Yeah.
Time and ideas.
Yeah.
It needs to iterate quickly, and then there'll be a hiatus from it.
Yeah. The other comment we had from, I think from Middlesex, was that the sort of physical meetings that we had were useful as well, and I think that's right, but that's only necessary probably when there are sort of big things going on. I don't think there's anything. It doesn't look like there's anything this year that would justify that. But we had a series of sort of day-long meetings that groups of you all came to, and we discussed in great detail the changes that we're going to make. So I haven't discounted that, but I don't think we're in a sort of the level of change at the moment justifies that. Okay, so sort of monthly or week or monthly or 2 weekly, depending on what's going on. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the things that I've identified that we should be doing is we're currently working on the 8.31 and 8.2.1, which is the student reporting changes for 2010-11. Don't want to talk about the details of that just now. I'm happy to in between other sessions. I published a list of the features on the Commons shortly before Christmas, I think. That seems like a long time ago. And there's a sort of defect bundle and an RPE bundle along with that. Then in March we move on to the DLHE regulatory changes, which I think again are quite small. And then in June we're planning the 8.33 and the 8.23, which will be the changes needed to capture data changes that are needed to report the following year. So where HESA introduced some new data that you need to collect for your 11-12 return, we'll provide you with an update then. Now, of course, there's a chance that HESA will implement or propose some changes to 2010-11 between now and the summer, and if that's the case, then we'll build that into the June release or provide patches or whatever to do that. And then in August, we'll make whatever changes are needed for the ITT return. And this is actually quite a big change to the way we've dealt with HESA in the first, because traditionally we would have done DLHE first and then the student return. And when I was planning this, it seemed that this way round was better, because it gives you more time to start working on building your HESA cohorts for the summer, which is a much bigger job, and to start producing the XML documents and validating it and so forth. But it does seem now maybe it's too soon because HESA haven't published the XML validation kit for the 2010-11 student return yet. That's not a huge issue, because you can still validate the XML using something like XML Notepad 2007. The advantage it has is that it gives HESA more time to publish the DLHE changes, and for those to be finalised. So I don't know. What does this sound? Does this sound like a better way of managing the releases through the year? Does that sound credible and feasible? Do you see any problems? Sounds good then. Okay. So that would be great. That would be great. Yeah. And Ron, remind me what version you're going to be on? 8.2. Okay. So if there any 8.3 or 8.4, probably not 8.5 clients, that would be fantastic to have an opportunity to run a beta test program with you. So looking at Seb. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Okay. And I've written it down now, so okay. So the other things that are sort of changing along that is the 8.5 and study path, but actually the 8.5 and study path is really about fee assessment and accounting transactions. I don't think that really has a bearing on Banner HESA at all, because, well, no. There is a process which snapshots the accounting transactions, but that's there sort of as a legacy really from the old HESA processing, and actually I didn't see a good use to put that snapshot to. So it's a snapshot, but that snapshot data doesn't get used. There's the PRGN and MDUU change, the mass database update utility, but that's really only a name change, so that doesn't have a huge bearing. But there is one change that falls out of that, which is that PRGN, for a very odd reason, had a form in it called SKACHRT, and I know there's a defect been reported for that from Southampton. PRGN was always part of Banner General, so I'm not quite sure why the SKACHRT form was part of it. But we've made a decision that SKACHRT will be adopted into Banner HESA. And in case you don't know, what that does is allows you to select a Banner baseline cohort and see the students that are attached to that cohort. So it's actually not really used by Banner HESA anymore, but there's still historical data that it's useful for. Without that form, the only way you can see cohort data is to look at it on individual student by student data. So we're going to adopt that, and we probably will add the study path field to that form as well, because in 8.3 the study path field got added to the baseline cohort form. And that's actually planned for the February release, but towards the bottom of the priorities. So that's what I'm planning for 2011. And I don't think that on its own is enough to keep me out of mischief. So what we need to do is to think about, well, are there other ways that we can add value, and then I need to go back to Colin and maybe Mike as well and say, well, is it worth doing other things to Banner HESA apart from the bare minimum regulatory releases? What could those things be? We've got 12 open RPEs at the moment. I don't think any of them are huge. Actually, there's probably 14, but 16, but 4 of them are being provided in the February release.